when you enter sacred union, it can be so easy for many to often get so caught up in the whirlwind that is the alignment of your energies, wanting to do so much together, you know, spending so much time together, traveling, just a lot of really sacred intimacy exchange, whatever that looks like, you know. So physically, emotionally, just wanting to just intertwine in so many ways, right? It's almost like you've got to that stage and it feels like a finally moment for whoever this message is for. And you know that you're worthy of, and now you are ready for that, and you're deserving of this new feeling that your heart is experiencing, you know? Which is why it's so important to stay grounded. Because whoever this message is for, your purpose when it comes to your sacred union is really unique. It's your sacred union is so divinely orchestrated that this is kind of a reminder to be intentional when you come into that situation. Not to lose the joy and the light-hearted playfulness that you can have together. The fun, the inner children, right? That freedom, it's beautiful. But to strengthen the foundation that you are building this on. Because you know that energy where it can be so easy to get wrapped up in the highs. And there's that energy of just wanting to maybe go with the flow, if that's what you want to call it. But specifically for this, instead of, there's kind of an energy of not wanting to keep cycling through those old patterns, which means that you're going to need to be very intentional with this moving forwards. Yeah. So be clear on how you are aligning. Understand that every connection, I always say, has the ability to expand your, I guess, your spiritual lens, right? The moment you understand that sacred union is a soul activation, you truly begin to see things differently and act differently. Okay, so you want to understand that, get on the same page about, you know, this is going to be an expansion, an evolution. So let's be intentional with it, because it can be too easy to get wrapped up in those highs, that when the lows come, because lows always come in any connection, romantic or not, you know, you want to have created that safe foundation, that stability, the 4 pillars, right, together to be able to handle that in the best way that you can. You can't always predict what's going to happen, right? But you can be prepared as possible. 4 pillars can look different to different people. Can be your core values, you know, you choose, maybe there's trust and honesty, loyalty, you know, maybe some people have friendship is what's coming to mind. Best friend energy, you know. And maybe there's something else here, security, some kind of stability as well is coming through for whoever this is. You know, so whatever those pillars look like for you, you will have worked together to ensure that you can maintain that, so that you can then enjoy the adventures that you have together and unravel the purpose, the divine mission of your connection. Because like I say, it's a soul activation. And for whoever this message is for, that will make sense to you. Okay. It's too easy to allow a label to take over in command of you. Certain tick boxes, you know. It's better not to allow yourself to just stick to a label anyway, because the truth is, everyone tries to make labels fit to them, you know. Oh, that part of that label doesn't work for me, but this part does. Maybe that label isn't for you, and that's okay. Maybe you have the beauty of creating your own connection, you know, for whatever it is. I think that there's a lot of like needing to seek guidance when it comes to relationships, because there's so much turmoil in that energy field that has been created for millennia, as I'm hearing. You know, and it all comes from really finding some kind of inner peace, inner stability, and allowing that to be your center to come back to gravitate back to every time you are even in a connection, which is why I always say that spending time by yourself is a really important part of your journey, instead of going from one person to another, whatever it is that works for the people. That's come through for a reason for this message though. Okay, so you can discover yourself, your truth, listen to your inner voice, you know, not just the external. Yeah, because someone right now, it feels like they're preparing for sacred union. It's like they're locked in on that vision. You know, when divine masculine is locked in, they know what they want and they will go for it, right? But they're also very, they can be very strategic with that, you know, because like I say, they don't want it to go wrong. I think this is where this is coming through, is that energy of ensuring that whoever is involved, divine masculine, divine feminine, whatever, you have that intention in mind. Because I feel like whoever this is you have a lot of there's a lot of passion, electricity is what I'm hearing, this sparky energy. So you need to be able to ground that down, you know, because once that's ignited, you know, so the center is important. There's also a message, especially for divine feminines, to be very clear on what it is that you want, where your boundaries are, so you don't get caught up in, oh, you know, the contact, the communication, the certain energy that they have that can be so powerful. You know, it's really beautiful actually. I'm getting a lot of just this energy. It feels very nice. It's just very nice. So you need to ensure that your boundaries are there in place and you are ready to honor what you're being asked to move towards now, okay? And be very honest with yourself whether it is what it is that you want, you're here for or not, because you've been doing both. Whoever's involved here has been doing beautifully to clear through so much density, you know, the illusion and the darkness, you know, because when you truly do come into sacred union, there will be pitfalls on your path, okay? Hearing pitbull could be important for someone. I get you a card to see, I'm just thinking which card to get you, these ones, okay? Whoever this message is for, what do you need to be aware of? Okay, we've got Virgo and Leo here. So, whoa, that was like really shaky then. So that could be important signs, messages, times of year. You know, there is stillness in that, but there's also strength. There's also that sun, that readiness to move forward, but also being very precise with how you move forwards. That energy, you know, you've been internally, you have that ability to go within. You have that inner eye, which is beautiful, but you're also able to shine your light in such a way where your courage is coming from, yes, being heart-centered, but also just being real. There's something about being realistic as well that's coming through, you know. Yeah. Balance, moderation, again, strength card. A lot of strength here. You've been gaining it. You need to come back to that and remember that no matter who and what is around you, what your situation is. There's something about harmony coming through, balance. That really is about aligning together. Whatever new beginning that wants to come through. Allowing divine timing. Well, just as Empress, Venus, but just as you said, allow divine timing. There's something about, again, another Leo card. Something about 7 to 14 days. The Empress here and the Justice card, something could be coming through. But I think there's something here, divine feminine, really allow yourself to, actually I think it's divine masculine as well, that inner feminine energy, allow that flow, that intuitive knowing, that beautiful quality you have, that light, you know, I keep saying that, to guide you, to be your guiding star. Expect the unexpected. Fire signs, a passion that I said. Impulse, but that I think that's being calmed down, especially with that Temperance card. That's why that divine timing is there. This time needed to be there. Time to get things going. Oh my God. Creative energy, sparking. Something about your creative energy is really important right now. 2 to 4 weeks. Summer could have been I'm hearing some kind of preparation for something. You might have been working on something, project. We've also got winter time here. You know, so that's important. Aquarius energies as well. Wow, this is really beautiful. I think that you're in a place of surrender, truly. Oh my God, you've got the King and Queen of Fire. That's passion. There's a lot of fire here. That's why that kept coming through, that feeling. You know, that's the next 7 days. winter into spring, that death into rebirth energies, you know, the true cyclic nature, the true beginning and the end. That feels big. Yeah, look at that. Scorpio, death card. Wow. There's some kind of renewal happening, a shift, a transition, and it's all because you're honoring the transitions within yourself. Sun. Yeah, the sun, Saturn, the world. So there's duties, there's a cycle closing out. And in doing so, people forget that, you know, karma doesn't just come in lessons, it comes in good karma too, if you want to call it that. It comes in the energy of actually creating a cycle where you're able now, with all the lessons you've been learning, to implement that and find balance moving forwards. You know, none of this rushing off impulse or whatever it is. Something about staying grounded, that's super important. Yeah, there's something closing out here, the devil, with that card. That whatever that shadow is, it's closing out. And that's why this new beginning is here again, time to get things going. Birthing is coming through. So there's a reason for that. So there's something, whatever the weight has been, this has been massively, the veils of illusion that I mentioned, that darkness closing out. There was something, don't forget there's many different layers of that, you know, many different veils, if you will. But there's something specific here that was being worked on. And that's why you're in this energy, wherever this energy is, I really focus on sacred union. But it's because you understand it's a reflection of the union you've created within you. That's the beauty of this, you know, because that's what it all comes back to. It's not just having a companion to do this X, Y, and Z with. That's not this specific message. This is really about that soul activation. It's been an internal job, truly. Okay. Wow. There's something, it's been going on. I think this might have been going on for a while, but the actual, like, the way of you're seeing things, perceiving things in this specific way now has been shifting for the last year, at least. Okay. There's been some big shifts with these closures of these cycles with this devil. Truly, for you to have reached this point where there's alignment here, there's balance, and it all happens energetically before it comes through physically. Okay. You've got this. Sending love.